Mr. Briggs, you like.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So, hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome and thanks for joining us in this wonderful section brought to you by Cybersecurity Media. And this is our second webinar section in the Security Awareness Month. So previously we talked about impact of insider threats in cybersecurity, and today we'll be talking about an interesting topic that reputational risks and brand protection. So Double Tuber Briggs, a cybersecurity specialist and a blockchain security examiner, and in the studio I have an awesome personality who has been with us from the day one of cyber safety media. Is no other person than Shegun Ebenezer Olaleyan, and he is a well-recognized cyber apostle in the infosec industry, and is the co-founder of Cyber Safety Media. So, Mr. Shegun, say hi to our viewers.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be here again. We are very sorry we are postponing, you know, the cybersecurity space is very busy right now. So, yeah, my name is Shegu Ebenezer Alani, co-founder of Cyber Safety Media, and I do a lot of things in cybersecurity. So, I wouldn't want to bug you with some of the things I do. If you want to know more about me, just check me out on LinkedIn and on Twitter also. Yeah, but as you have heard, call me Cyber Apostle. I'm a cybersecurity analyst specializing in third-party risk analysis and assessment. I'm also a cybersecurity educator. I inspire people to write exams. All right.
Yeah,
If you
one
want
of
to
his
know more
major
about
specialties. So you get to know Mr. Shegun if you are joining us for the first time. But if you've been part of this webinar journey, you already know Mr. Shegun. And also, we have one special security analyst in our meeting. She's joining us for the first time, and she's no other person than Veronica Shiamaka Peter from Cyber Girls Foundation, and she's literally part of our community. So, Veronica, say hi to our viewers.
Hi everyone. Good evening, everybody. My name is Veronica, and it's an honor to be here on this webinar to speak alongside my boss, Mr. Shegun. We heard all the titles to his name. He's my boss. So I am a cyber girl alumni, yes, and I am a SOC analyst. Yes, so that's it for now.
So, yeah, Veronica, this is your first time engaging in our webinar section, and this happens to be our cybersecurity awareness. So, how do you feel joining cybersecurity media?
I feel really glad to be here. Really glad because this is like a very amazing team. I've been like watching you guys the webinar and all, which is usually very educative, and I feel so happy to be here to be able to contribute my in any way I can to help the cybersecurity community. So yeah.
Okay, all right. So, tell us a little about what the Cyber Girls Foundation is all about.
Okay. The Cyber Safe Foundation is an NGO. Was founded
Okay.
by the most celebrated woman in Africa, like cybersecurity Africa. Yeah. So
Yeah, well
unfortunately,
recognized, very well.
yes.
Yeah,
So
anyone
it's
in the cyberspace that doesn't know his confidence, that person is just
yes, the person doesn't know anybody. We don't know confidence.
that's true.
Yes, so she
yeah,
is
just give us some back
founder
of
and she
mind.
has been an inspiration to thousands of girls all over the African
Yeah.
continent, and I'm one of them. Yeah, so it's a lovely program that picks like teaches and grooms ladies from different backgrounds to be outstanding in the field, and I am a testimony to it. It's a really
Yes,
nice.
you're outstanding, and that's what makes you join cybersecurity media.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Briggs.
Yeah. So back to the reasons for today's webinar. So we're talking about reputational risk and brand protection. Before we get into the aspect of the risk and the protection, we need to know what a brand is all about. Yeah. So, Mr. So, in your way, what can you give us? Like, what do you feel a brand is all about? Because our viewers need to get a clear picture of what a brand is. A brand can be called a business or an organization or an NGO, whatever you can place it as. So, just give us a clear insight about what a brand or an organization is before we talk about protecting their reputation.
All right. Brands. When we say branding, right, what we are trying to say is that you are trying to set your product or your services apart. You are trying to add values and core values that make you different from your competitors, from the
Okay.
people that does the same thing you do in your industry or in your field. So let's say that you are, for example, let's use cybersecurity as an example. Um, what, I am a cybersecurity professional, but I am not the only professional in the industry. So what
Yes.
set me apart is my personal brand, the things that can be used to identify me, that can be used to stand me out of other cybersecurity professionals. So if you are a business owner, the things, anything, whether name, symbol, the way you do your business, your core values and the rest of them, those things are the things that identify your your products and services, that makes it to be unique, that when people see it, for example, we have different kind of beverages and all these beverages, soft drinks and the rest of them, but
Yeah.
there are different ingredients and tastes that set
Just
different brands apart, or that
Yeah,
set different.
just like we have the Indomie where you have multiple types of Indomie.
Yes, yes. Now, noodles is the general name whatever they are doing or whatever
Yeah,
product they are rolling out.
but
Indomie
they
is
they
a
all
brand
classify.
you
Yes,
get that sets that manufacturer apart from every other manufacturer that are producing the same product. So that is what brand is all about. So when we are saying brand, we are saying the things that set you apart as an organization, the things that set you apart as a manufacturer, the things that set you apart as a business, the things that set you apart as as a conglomerate owner. So that is what brand is all about.
okay, yeah. So, Mr. Shogun, you've given us an interesting point about brand. So, getting to the protection side, you can say so. A brand protection is like process and the set of actions that a right holder undertakes to prevent third parties from using its intellectual properties without permission. Yeah. So,
All right, I think we lost Mr. Briggs there. I think he's having a maybe a network issue. So, all right, Veronica, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
All right, so what can you say about brands and risks that comes to brand risk, reputational risk, brand, and the rest of the what do you have to say?
Okay, so I'll start with what risk are, because it's like important to understand what risk are. To understand what reputational risk are, we have to understand risk first.
Yeah.
So risk is simply like the possibility or the likelihood of a negative occurrence. the likelihood that something bad will happen. So, a reputational risk is the likelihood that a company's reputation is going to be damaged because of an incident or something like that. So, when you have a risk, to have a risk, there has to be like a threat and a vulnerability. So, a threat that is going to exploit a vulnerability is what births a risk. So, when we have a risk and there is a vulnerability and a threat exploiting that vulnerability, that's when we have a risk. So for instance, let's take a threat actor like an hacker and a vulnerability in an organization like failure to like implement, let's say, security updates on their devices in an organization. Now the threat actor in this case is the hacker, and the vulnerability is the failure to implement security practices like updates. Now, if an hacker that has been like targeting the organization for a long time gets access through that vulnerability, that's the failure to update their system. If they get access to the company and then get access to the company's information, sensitive data and all that, it could lead to like a cyber attack. Like the hacker can carry out malicious intentions. Now, the results of that exploit, which is the cyber attack is the risk in this case. So we have the hacker and the vulnerability. So when the hacker exploits that vulnerability, the outcome is usually referred to as a risk. So the cyber attack in this case is the risk. And a cyber attack could have multiple catastrophic effects on the organization, like financial losses, like data exposure, and damaged reputation. So anything that is capable of causing harm to a business or changing the perspective, like the way the public see the company, like changing the way the customers trust the company and all that, is what we refer to as reputational risk. It's this is a topic that every organization should never joke with, because a damaged reputation has lot of negative impact on the organization. Most times, some organizations that are hit with reputational risk don't even survive it. Some go out of business because it's really hard to build trust. Like when you've spent years building your brand, building customers, like their loyalty, and they trust your brand and they are like patronizing you and all that, and all of a sudden they can no longer trust you because of, let's say, a data breach that occurred and customers information was leaked. They could no longer trust the brand and all the stuff. Yeah, so the company could lose customers, and the customers could lose confidence in the organization and its services. So this is a really really important topic that organizations should be aware of. They should take brand protection really, really seriously, because we've seen many cases of organizations that were hit with data breaches, like cyber attacks, and some of them, even though they like still got up, it could take years, lots of years to rebuild that brand, and some of them, their brand just goes crumbling down, which is why reputational risk is not something a company should ever joke with. Yeah, so reputational risk is a very important topic that we have to discuss. And so, yeah, that's it. Anything capable of causing or changing the public perception of the company in a negative way is what we refer to as reputational risk.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Veronica, for this interesting points. Yeah, I was out with the studio because of network. So give some explanations about reputational risk. So in addition to that, so reputational risk is like any threat to your company's reputation. So this can happen when the company's character or ethics are called into question. So, as well as factors including negative media coverage, legal action, or even more rumors. And it can also cause damage to your brand and reputation. So, in this aspect, this is one of the topics reputational risk management concern. So, it can be also said that brand reputational risk is damage that to the business when it fails to meet the expectations of the stakeholders. It's lost negatively perceived to stakeholders and also the customers. So, Mr. Shogun, over to you. So, give us some use cases of data breaches that influence an organization's reputation.
All right. Use cases, of course, there are many, right? And I will just be mentioning like two very, very, um, uh, very known and organization that have suffered um, data breach that have affected their reputation before, that even
Yeah,
cost.
you can also give us the impact of the reputational risk on the organization.
All right. So I will just put it together, right? All right. So
Yeah.
Facebook is one of the organizations that have over time, see, they have track record of sustaining data breach, right? That have leaked, millions of, personal information, personally identifiable information of their, you know, of their users, right? We have the recent one that happened in 2019, you know, Facebook, and that one actually really affected them a lot, affected the Facebook brand. That time that Mark Zuckerberg was going for questioning trials, and you see that we incur a lot of huge amount of money, fine and rest of it, right? It's the money that you are normally supposed to use to run the operations of your organization. You begin to channel it into, settling cases, into trying to recover from data breach, and then into trying to make communications to the millions. People don't even know that the cost of recovering from data breach is more than the cost for running, the day-to-day activity, business function of an organization, right? It is more than the cost that you will use to implement the security controls that will help you to stay secure, that will help you to protect your organization. So you see, many organizations, when they see budgets for security implementation, they tend to say, "Oh, go and beat it down, go and reduce it." But when the data happens, when the hack happens, the money that right? Look at Uber. Of course, Uber might not really have been impacted with reputational, like reputation impact, because of course they are just they are into business of transportation business. So we might not say maybe people will stop using them. Their own services are not as essential as some other services, right? That we have. So the impact of the reputation damage impact on Uber might not be as much as on Facebook, that people upload their day-to-day, you know, activities. People put their personal data and the rest of it.
Yeah, yeah,
You get what I'm trying to say, right? So,
yeah.
so of course, now you could see that Uber is trying to, put together security force security that we help them to defend their IT organizational environment, uh, their network, and the rest of it. Now, the money they are spent to try to employ people, they are supposed to have spent less than that before, right? Employing people and then implementing more controls. But now they are spending more because, first of all, they will have to recover from the hack, and then second of all, they employ more people, and those ones are coming to come and help them implement security. Based on that, the kind of amount they will be asking to, that is, it will be it will be something that is so much for them to bear, right? So that is one case study, right? Facebook and Uber, one case study. Then TikTok, September last year, TikTok, it was allegedly, reported that TikTok suffered a data breach. But of course, they came out. Was it last year? No, September this year. Yeah, September this year. But they came out and said no, they debunked it. That no, that didn't happen. But what I'm saying is, if that actually happened, it would have actually, tarnished their image, because a lot of, a lot of personal data is going into Twitter. A lot of people upload, videos that has to feature some information about them that is not supposed to be. And because of the lack of awareness everywhere, a lot of people make videos and shows their parents' picture at their back, right? Their family members' picture at their back, and then they upload such video and the rest of them. And those things, right? When there is a data breach, those kind of information gets exposed. And then that a lot of things can happen. Cyber criminals can leverage this information to further their attack. This alone, right, can actually tarnish the image of the organization. If people see that there are a lot of attacks due to data breach that happens in an organization, such customers or clients, they will withdraw and then go for an organization that guarantees the security and control over their personal data, right? So, having mentioned these things, what are the what are the impacts, the reputational impact of data breach on organization, or when data breach happens, what impact does it have on companies' reputation? Number one, I think Veronica mentioned that the other time. Number one is loss of trust and business. Loss of trust and business. Victims of will the victims, which are the clients and customers, they will lose trust in that organization. They will lose trust. They won't want to, be committed to such organization again. And don't forget that you are not the only one in the marketplace, right? That is doing that same thing, that is rolling out that same product, that is rendering that same service, right? They will go for other organizations that maybe guarantee that, oh, don't worry, we will have control over your, personal data. We are adhere by regulations, data privacy regulations that help us to control how the data is being used and the rest of that. They will withdraw. And when they withdraw, you are in business because of your customers. You are in business because of your clients. Where there are no clients, there are no business for you. You cannot you cannot make your product and then eat it by yourself. You cannot make your product and then consume it by yourself. You are in business because you want to make profit. And that profit does not come from your family members. It comes from clients and customers. So if you cannot guarantee the protection of their data, they will withdraw. They will lose their trust in you. They will lose their trust in your business, right? Then, consumers will, defect from a business if there is data breach. They will defect from your business if their information is compromised, right? Negative word of mouth. Now, these people will begin to tell other people about your business, about your organization. If their personal data is, is included or involved in a data breach in your organization, when they see somebody that wants to use your product or that want to subscribe to any of your services, they will use, because of the experience they've had with your organization, they will use that experience to, to refrain those people from doing business with you. In fact, through that, you will lose stakeholders. You will lose business partners. You will lose people that want to go into partnership with you, right? You will lose them, And then social media is another tool that clients can use to actually bring your organization down. If there is a data breach, social media, Twitter is just a click before you retreat. Just one click, and it will spread like wildfire, right? Negative accounts by customers who have been affected or victims who have been affected by data breach. Before you know it, they begin to talk about your organization, they begin to talk about your products, they begin to talk about you, and the social media, you are gone, right? And sometimes they make reviews on forums, when a data breach happens in your organization and it affects personal data, those victims will go and be making, in forums, begin to give you bad reviews. That will make you lose your customer, lose more potential customers, right? You lose out of competitors. You lose out of competitors. Before you know it, your competitors, the organized businesses that are looking up to get to that your level, they begin to get to your level and even pass you and leave you behind, right? So these are the risks that comes with the reputational damage that comes with data breach happening in an organization, or when there is an hack or anything that has to expose customers' data. But I have a few things I just want to quickly add. That okay, let's say uh, your company, because no technology is 100% safe. Even when you implement a robust, security, cybersecurity program or information security program, there is still a probability that you might suffer, a data breach. So now let's say you suffer a data breach. What are the steps you are supposed to take? Effective steps, those data breach steps that would help you to recover your reputation. I think organizations and business need to hear this. The steps that will help you to recover your reputation, maybe immediately after the data breach happens, because it is not easy to recover reputation after it has been damaged or tarnished due to the fact that you had a data breach, right? Number one is to be the source, the first source to break the news. Do not wait until a news outlet or an online magazine or an online news outlet carries the information and release it to the public. And this is lacking in Nigeria. This is lacking. Nobody wants to talk about their data breach experience. No organization wants to show that they've been breached before. No organization, they are forming master and superior when it comes to protect, and it is a lie. They suffer data breach, they suffer hack. They are being hacked. Right? So be the first source of the information delivery to the public. By that, of course, a lot of people, some of your clients or customers might lose, trust in you. But that act can also gain the trust of some. That and they were the one that even reached out to us. They were the one that said, the press release. They sent us the personal email and the rest. There will still be an iota of their trust that will still, remain based on that action. Engage in threat sharing. Tell the public what really happened and tell them the steps you are taking to actually recover and make sure that everything go back to normal. Right? Implement a robust notification plan where all your clients are being notified, and then the steps they're supposed to take in order to protect themselves are being included in that notification. Right? Hire a vice CISO, or it might not be a CISO now, but like a security specialist that will help you through this, process of recovering and process of, going back to normal. Of course, you might have your in-house IT security workforce, but you might need an external consultant who will, collaborate with your in-house team and then make this possible. Be transparent enough with all parties, stakeholders, and everybody involved. Make sure that you even involve all the regulatory bodies that is in charge of your laws, industry laws and regulations that is pertaining to you and within your jurisdiction. I think with these few points, you should be able to effectively recover from reputational damage, and then even still save majority of your customers when there is a data breach. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, so Mr. Shogun has got some interesting points on case studies, about data breach and how they influence organizations and their reputations, and also he gave us the impacts of that, and he gave us some principle talks about what organizations and businesses they need to do start being involved in a data breach, you have to create an awareness, letting your customers know about what happened, other than hiding the whole scene. But okay, so can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So yeah, so I said you this of reputational risk before we move on how to prevent a reputational risk and give a proper focus on brand protection also.
Okay, so there are lots of causes of reputational risk, but I will be taking us through the ones that are the most common causes of reputational risk. So a reputational risk can be caused directly, like for instance, as a result of the action of the company. So let's take for example an organization that deals with producing things that consumers use. Yeah. And let's say those their products don't meet the needs of the customers, it could cause a reputational risk. Or let's say they bring out a product to the market, and then they're like, this my product is going to do this, is going to do that, and then the customers purchase that product, and at the end of the day it doesn't actually do those things. It could cause reputational risk. They wouldn't want to refer the brand to somebody else, or they wouldn't want to continue doing business with that organization. So another cause could be due to the actions of employees of the company. Okay, there was a case of a cyber attack last month in September, Uber breach. I don't know if we heard about it. So this Uber breach that happened last month, during investigations, during the investigations, they confirmed that um, the former CSO, the former chief security officer of Uber, tried to cover up data breaches 2 times. So, like, this is not the first time that Uber is suffering a data breach. They suffered a data breach in 2016 and 2018. Yeah. So, during the investigation, they found out that the chief CSO of that time during 2014 and 2016 tried to cover up the data breach. And now those data breach cases actually exposed lots of Uber users and Uber drivers' license numbers. Lots of it. So instead of reporting the attacks to the appropriate authorities, the CSO paid off the hackers to cover up the incidents. This is a very, very bad thing because companies that are storing customers' data have a responsibility. Like your customers trust you with their data. So you have a responsibility to actually protect that data. And if a cyber attack occurs, a data breach occurs, whether it's the company's fault or not, they still have a responsibility to inform those customers that were affected. Just like Mr. Shegun said, the companies have the responsibility to tell them that we are suffering a data breach, and these are the persons that were affected. These are if so they know the steps to take and how to actually protect themselves. Do they need to go to their account and, let's say, take off some information so that it doesn't result to another attack to the customer on its own? So the action of this CSO of Uber could actually lead to customers not trusting Uber anymore. They might not trust Uber anymore with their information because, okay, what if another attack happens and they cover it up, and they think their information is just there lying around. Hackers have access to their information. So actions of employees also affect the company's reputation. Yeah. So another cause of reputational risk are data breaches. I know we've been hearing about data breaches since the beginning of this call, and that's because it is something that is happening every day on the news. There are cases of new cyber breaches, new cyber attacks. So data breaches are like the causes of reputational risk in, like, most times they are the causes. So data breaches are, okay, let me just explain what data breaches are for some persons that may not know. So they are like cyber attacks that exposes sensitive or confidential information to unauthorized persons, like an hacker, like a black hat hacker. So when a company suffers a data breach, it is almost impossible to recover from it in most cases. And this is because the outcome of a data breach can be very catastrophic. So let's take for instance a company that deals with customer information, like the healthcare industry, or patient data, or financial institution, like a bank that deals with customers sensitive information like their card details, their BVN, and let's say they suffer a cyber attack that expose their information. So, okay, Mr. Shegun even mentioned about TikTok. We know most people are on TikTok. TikTok is like the social media platform that most teenagers are on now. Many people are there. Like, Facebook is no more reigning itself. It's TikTok. So imagine if truly they suffer that data breach and those data of the users were exposed. It could actually lead to a reputational damage, like Mr. Shegun said, because they wouldn't want to trust them again with their information. Yeah. So it's data breaches cause organizations to not only lose money, they could also have reputational damage. And reputational damage can take years to recover from, because people will no longer want to entrust them with their personal data. So yeah, data breaches are like the causes most times. So organizations that suffer data breaches should actually tell the public, like Mr. Shegun said. Nigeria, I've not heard like a company that suffer a data breach and they will come out and say it. There are only few. I don't know. They shouldn't cover up such things because the customers are involved, people are involved, business partners are involved, stakeholders are involved. So they should actually come out and tell them, because it's it is also their concern. They should tell them the steps they are taking to actually mitigate and contain the incident. At least that way, they could actually trust them again with their information. Even the biggest companies, we've had so many cases of like big, large companies that were actually brought to their news because of reputational damage. So it is not a small thing. Organizations need to start taking the right steps, the right practices to actually curb data breaches and also protect their reputation if actually a data breach occurs. Yeah, so I think that's it.
Mr. Briggs, are you there?
Yeah, can you
All
hear me?
right. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so Veronica, thank you for your interesting points you pointed out about data breach and also Mr. Shegun. So data breach has been one of the most common cyber attacks which have been underrated, but so far so good. It has been a very critical one which organization and even small scale businesses really need to look into some processes of mitigating data breaches. it's really, really essential to look into that. I think we have a topic about data breach in one of our sections in this security awareness month. So we have a very long talk about it. So, Veronica, you'll be telling us on how to prevent reputational risk.
Yes, so nowadays we see lots of cases of criminals that are impersonating brands. So brand impersonation is like very common. You see different criminals like trying to do stuffs under like a company's name, a company's brand, like some might create fake products or create fake websites or send phishing emails to like customers and make it look like it's coming from the original company. So all these things they are doing under the company's name, under the company's brand, and some persons that are not actually aware or they are not tech savvy could like just think it's coming from the original company and then they go with it and then at the end of the day they are scammed. That's a reputational risk because those customers would think it's coming from the original company, especially in cases where those companies don't even come out to like say, oh, we suffered a data breach and blah blah blah, and the customers were scammed, like because their brand was impersonated. Those customers would not want to trust the brand again. So a way forward is brand protection. So brand protection is a set of security practices that shields a brand name, everything about the brand value, their sensitive data, their intellectual properties, yeah, customer trust, customer loyalty. It protects all these things from any kind of threats like fraud, impersonation, data breaches, all kinds of cyber attacks. So a way forward to take like to avoid reputational risk is definitely brand protection. So organizations should take steps to protect their brand. And yeah, we'll be sharing some tips on how organizations can safeguard their brand.
Okay, yeah. So we'll be moving on to the importance of brand protection. So protecting a brand online leads to improve functionalities and sales by removing cheap and counterfeit and fraudulent activities and whatever will damage the company's or organization's reputation away from it. So with low quality limitations, removing these stocks from it and from the marketplace. Authentic products will be seen as more reliable and creative works are stolen by others. So in this aspect, so Mr. Sheldon, give us the importance of brand protection before we move to the tips for protecting brands. And also, we'll be having a question and answer section. So if you are joining us, just have that question set to give us while we break whatever is giving you issues, we break it down to your understanding. So over to you, Mr. Sheldon. Give us the importance of brand protection.
All right. All right. Importance of brand protection. Well, from all that we have been saying, we should have actually been able to ascertain certain importance, um, from all that we've been sharing. Veronica have been, giving us some very good tips and the rest of that. All right. So number one, you will maintain your reputation when you protect your brand very well. You will maintain your reputation. What makes you unique in the marketplace? What makes you different from your competitors? You will maintain it, right? And then that also sells you better to your customers and attract more stakeholders and more business partners when your brand is protected. Another importance is it will help you to reap the reward of your creativity, right? It will help you to reap the reward of your creativity. When your brand is protected, you won't lose intellectual property. You won't lose what makes you you, what makes your business you. There is a taste that Coca-Cola has. Any other brand does not have that taste. What sets them apart? That creativity is that taste. What makes Coca-Cola Coca-Cola is not even is not the building, it's not the machine they has, is that their recipe, that their taste, right? So you will reap the reward of your creativity, what you have created from your intellectual realm, what you have as a secret, as your trade secret, you will be able to reap it. Because if that is exposed and is used by a competitor, it means that you now have a similitude of your organization in another organization. And by so doing, you will lose out of relevance. Number three is other businesses will be more inclined to work with you. Other businesses will be more inclined to work with you when your brand is protected, when you have a track record of not losing your guard as an organization, right? Brands, other businesses, other brands will want to work with you. Everybody wants to work with an organization that can guarantee their security, that can guarantee the protection of their own clients or customers' data, right? I wouldn't want to do business with an organization that will not guarantee if I'm sharing an aspect of my IT environment and a part of my own client's information with them, I will not want to work with your organization if you cannot guarantee that you will be able to protect my own client's data. So these are few importance of brand protection, right? And I want to quickly talk about brand impersonation on social media. That is very rampant right now. Brand impersonation on social media is so rampant now. Like there are a lot of cyber criminals creating different accounts for different brands, and that is why it is very important that you register your trademark, you register your business with the appropriate authority, so that when there is anything like that and somebody is doing a transaction on your behalf, you have a say, right? You are registered with an authority already. You have a backing. When you begin to make your moves, certain authorities want to back you up because you are registered. Your trademark is registered. Your business name is registered, right? And then your social media management must be top notch as an organization, so that you'll be able to detect quickly when cyber criminals are beginning to use your brand to scam people. All right. So I think Mr. Briggs, you have the floor.
Okay, yes. So thank you, Mr. Ebro, for that. So over to you, Monica. Give us some tips for being brand relations from all the risks and the reputational risks it will involve.
Mr. Briggs, are you talking to me?
I'm talking to Veronica.
Veronica, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. So
Okay, so yeah, continue.
some tips for brand protection. Mr. Shegun has already mentioned lots and lots of tips during his talk.
Yeah, almost
Lots
all the
from
points
here.
are correlating.
Yes. So security. Okay, we've seen that in most organizations, they see security as a, how do I put it? It's not something that is they should do. They don't see it as something that is important. It's like a secondary thing to them. It's not something that they see as important. That's why most times they're always the one like facing cyber attacks, data breaches, and all those stuff. That's because they see security as an afterthought. Security should never be an afterthought. As you are creating your business, as you are starting a new company, like it should be the first thing on your list. Security should never be an afterthought. It should be something that is implemented first. Okay, so for companies that actually deal with creating products that customers use, like or creating softwares that many users use, they should implement security from the ground up. Like there is this concept of security by design. So they should implement security during the development stage of that their product, of that software, of whatever they are giving out to the customer. They should implement security. And then security should not be something that is just done once and forgotten. Because over time, as technology continues to evolve, there are new threats arising, lots of new threats. So you don't expect the same threats that you put in controls for to be the same threats you are still like facing. So you have to like continually review the threats against your organization, continually review those threats and continue to take steps to mitigate those threats and to mitigate the risk. So security should not be an afterthought, and it should not be something that is done once, like a single activity. It should be
Yeah,
done
it's a
over and
intentional
over
process.
again.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So
exactly.
yeah, we are almost out of time, and we need to wrap up. So thank you for the tips on brand protection. We'll be moving on to a quick question and answer section. So if you have any questions a few minutes before we call it a wrap. So we're waiting for questions, for welcoming questions. Okay. In absent that, all right. Thank
All
you,
right, if there's
Mr.
no
Sherwin.
question, I just want to add something. If there's no question. All right, so another tip I want to actually add is that now you have a domain name for your organization, for your business. Now, what most organization or most businesses do is that they only register the domain one domain name, right? Which is most of the time .com, the .com domain um, level of domain name registration. But I want to advise if you have a business, you are listening, you have an organization, make sure that even though it is .com you are using, that your client knows you with. Try and get other variations of domain, like the .org version of your domain of your organization name, the .net version of your organization, the .org version of your organization name, and the rest of them like that are very popular. There are different of them, but the .org, .net, and .com, and any other one that is very popular, please register it so that you own it, right? You have the ownership. So on the database of the domain registrar, they already know that you are the owner. So if any other person wants to buy it, they will have to seek your permission before they buy that domain name, right? So that is what I want to actually add. All right, that's what I want to add. And also have like a non-disclosure agreement in place whereby when external organizations or suppliers or vendors want to do business with you, they want to supply you goods and services that helps you deliver your own product effectively, that increases your video as an organization. You need to have an effective non-disclosure agreement that makes sure that it seals that agreement that they don't disclose any data that has to do with your clients or your own customer, right? So having said this, thank you very much for joining us. We have come to the end of today's webcast, Cybersecurity Awareness Month. I want to believe that so far since we started, you've learned one or two, right? Please go back to your organization and implement these cybersecurity best practices and tips to protect your organization's brand and to reduce reputational risk in your organization. Till the next time that we meet, we want to say bye for now. Thank you for joining us, and we would love to see you in our next webcast for the Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Thank you for joining us. Bye for now.